don't know what the show is going to be like tonight, but we're going to rock with it. Before the Billions is in the house. My brother's in the house. Come on in, Before the Billions. I appreciate you, brother. Guys, subscribe to our brother Before the Billions. Another one of our good brothers who are in tech, getting it done. Joy is in the house. Hey, let's get that money. JT Corn Range here to drive the super chat. I appreciate you, brother. Christian's in the house. What's good? That's my brother right there. My BH member, Christian. You know, when I make my way down to Atlanta, we're gonna drink some cognac, maybe a little bit of bourbon, a lot of wine, and some cigars, brother. That's right. It's a Monday, guys. It's a Monday evening. I don't usually live stream this time of the night, but I thought I got to get some content on the channel. So why not do a live stream? It's been a good Monday so far. We're gonna talk about it, and tonight's gonna be a call-in show, guys. I want to hear from you. I might as well get my Zoom up right now. Let me get my Zoom ready, because I'm gonna want to hear from you guys on this subject tonight. I gotta text my brother, Dr. Dix, man. He was one of the ones that inspired this live stream. So I gotta give him the credit. Persevere Data TV, what's happening, man? First Gen Corporate, what's happening? Not in tech, maybe one day. Show me the money. You're gonna have to work hard for the money, man. You're gonna have to work hard for the money, brother. Before the Billions said, LOL, gotta come to the A. Absolutely, man. Persevere Data TV. Shout out to the data engineers, man, for real. Shout out to the data engineers. They're out there getting that money. Noah Page, my brother's in the house. I got a text from my brother Noah this morning. Noah's been ignoring me, man. I'm like, where my brother Noah at, man? He finally got back to me this morning. He's been busy out there grinding. Christian says, man, yes, sir, absolutely. Can't wait for you to come. I'm planning a trip to Austin, Texas this summer. Oh, if you come into Austin, we gonna host you, brother. You good. We gonna take care of you. My brother Jabron's in the house. I had a good 10 minutes with Jabron yesterday. We just chopping it up. That's my brother right there, man. That's my brother right there. All right. Let me cut the music. Let me just cut the music, guys. I hope you guys have had a fantastic Monday. I've been busy. Man, I've been busy. I've been on calls all day, but it's been a fantastic Monday. I must say that. I feel energized. Yesterday was a good recovery day. I was talking to Brother Jabron yesterday, and one of the things that we were talking about is how much sleep do we get at night? And the consensus is showing me, based on my Patreon group, right? The men who are doing it, the men who are on the grind, the men who have goals, the men who are starting a business or already has a business, the men who are going to college, getting into tech, the men who are getting certifications. Guys, the average amount of sleep that the majority of these men and these ladder climbers are getting is anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. So I thought I wasn't normal, but when you're around people who are grinding like you, right, you are pretty normal. So I don't feel as bad as I once did as I did before, right? About, not getting as much sleep at night. Now I go to bed early, but what ends up happening is 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock wakes me up, and I'm up for a good 3 or 4 hours thinking about stuff, going through stuff, learning some stuff, using that time to download information and get prepped for my next day and so forth. And then I don't get back to sleep. So anyway, I need to figure that piece of it out to where I can get more sleep. I think we all can get more sleep, but ultimately what it comes down to is when you are a high performer, and what I've noticed, high performers don't sleep 8 hours, 7 hours straight. They may sleep 4 to 6 hours and take naps and short little breaks like that, or catch up on the weekends. So I didn't feel as bad after talking to my brothers and getting the poll done by the patrons and having those guys give me some validations there. Let me do this. Let me do this real quick, guys. Let me talk to the chat. Before the Beans just got out of the gym. He got his workout in. Man, I got mine in first thing this morning, my brother. I got mine in first thing this morning. Professor Black Ops, what is up, my brother? Before the Beans says, I don't get much sleep. LOL. I'm always doing these late night work sessions. Before the Beans, you be on the live streams for like 8 hours. So I know for sure you're not getting a lot of sleep, brother. You be getting it, man. You be getting it for sure. You be getting it, man. Christian Alexander says, I only get 5 to 6 hours a night. Not good, but that's life sometimes. Yes, I think it comes in seasons and stuff like that as well, too. You're right. You're right, Christian. I think overall, when you're in the season of trying to accomplish a lot and you have a lot on your plate, you're not going to be getting a lot of sleep. There are seasons where you can take a bit of a break, where you will get a good 7-8 hours of sleep. Right now, that's not my season. I don't know when that season will be. Maybe it's a vacation. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. But that's not my season, and it's for a lot of the ladder climbers in the Patreon. It's not their season as well, too. So, seem pretty normal. Anyway, what I wanted to do, gents and ladies, I wanted to have a conversation. This is going to be a call-in show. First thing I want to do, housekeeping. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well. Hit the like button. If you're new to this channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. I am going to be in Houston on Wednesday. I'm going to see my Patreon members. We're going to have a nice little dinner, right? We're going to have a good time. I'm looking forward to that, chopping it up. We're making our way up north for the holidays. Going to be a good family event. I'm looking forward to it. Guys. If you haven't subscribed to the Patreon yet, go ahead and join the group. It's a group of professional young people that's out there getting it. Hold ourselves accountable and make sure that it is happening. Okay. I was on a coaching call prior to this. The reason why I was a little bit late to this, a gentleman, Hakeem, a good brother of ours, and it was a great coaching session. Again, guys, at the end of the day, here's the thing. We want to get to a certain place in life. We need people who can help with that, provide some guidance, provide some validations, and so forth. If you haven't seeked coaching yet, you're not investing into yourself. Doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be by me, right? But one of the things is when you become a premium Patreon member, you get access to me to get coaching on a quarterly basis, right? So if coaching is something that you will eventually need, become a Patreon member. You don't have to just talk to me. You can talk to Brother Jabron. You can talk to Brother Noah. You can talk to a whole bunch of smart individuals that has it going on and so forth, right? So become part of the Patreon group. The group is growing, and the group is a powerful, strong network. All right, so I'm going to be in Houston. I'm going to be in Dallas on Friday. So Joshua, Brandy, I'm going to come and check you out. Looking to have either a lunch or a dinner with you. I will set some time up with you later on in the week. For the folks that are in Houston, guess what? Miss Wade, since this Wednesday is going to be the guys' night, right? Miss Wade wants to host you guys at the house. She's going to make that nice little fine charcuterie board for you guys as well, too. So it'll be a good time for you guys to meet the family as well too. Guys, tonight's show is a show that I want to do. And the reason why I wanted to do the show is because we talk about tech all the time. We talk about the lavishness of having a great salary. We talk about, putting in the work and so forth. But there is a lot more that we can be talking about. And tonight, we're going to be talking about some of those other things that we should be talking about. And I want you to think about it from this aspect of it. I got the show titled Black Men in Tech. But if you are a woman, because many women follow this channel as well too, who are in tech, right? 18% based on the YouTube data and analytics. You may find yourself in this position as well. So we want to hear from you as well too. But what I'm going to do, because I like to always do this when I do these live streams, is I want to use an article. And I'm going to give my feedback based on this article, not just my feedback. I want to hear your feedback as well. What is it like to be in tech? To prepare people for the things that they may stumble across, or they may not see at all. Nobody's situation is the exact same. That's one thing I will say. Nobody's situation is the exact same. I'm a type of person where I try to avoid situations that many people encounter. That doesn't mean that their situation don't exist. It just means that I'm a little bit more cautious when it comes to certain things, or I like to have more control, as one may say. But we all have an experience, and I want to see what it is in your lens, and I want for you guys to talk about it as well too in this conversation tonight, guys. That's what it's about. It's about being in tech, being a man in tech. That could be a woman as well too, because we want to hear from you guys as well. So I'm going to start it off with an article, or should I really talk about myself first without the article? Maybe I'll do the article, because I can interject with my personal experience with the article as well too. Michael Graham, brother, says, I'm transferring my skills. You got to transfer the skills, brother. That's the only way you're going to be able to get into this tech space, my man. I believe Michael is in the hospitality industry, and he's a good brother of ours, a Patreon members as well too. And he's going to be transferring his skills into the tech industry. Helmet Chili, what's happening, man? Missed the live yesterday. You know what? There wasn't a live yesterday, Helmet. There was actually a live on Saturday. But we didn't do anything on yesterday. Yesterday was the catch-up day, brother. But tonight is alive. It's alive. And I want to hear from you guys. And I'm going to open this up for a call-in. Let me do something. Let me put my glasses on. Let me get the glasses on right now. A little bit of reflection, it being nighttime. And I want to make sure that I can see everything. All right, let's do this. Let's get to the article, guys. Let's get to the article. All right, guys, let me blow this up. I think this needs to be blown up a little bit, just a little bit. This is a Harvard Business Review article, guys. What it's like being a black man in tech. And this was from March 4th, 2021 by LeRon Barton. And again, guys, I want for you to give your experience on this as well too. And I'm going to interject throughout this article on what my experience is like, right? I've been in the tech industry for a good 15, 16 years already, right? In the supply chain industry. And I don't know it all. I haven't seen it all. I haven't worked for a FANG. I haven't worked for, a lot of companies. I've only worked for really 2 companies in my entire life. What happens in my world can be completely different than what happens in other people's worlds. And what happens in your worlds can be completely different than what happens in my world as well too. But let's get to it. So, as a black man who's been working in the technology sector for more than 20 years, I can tell you that my race has almost always had a factor into how I've been viewed and treated. Uh-oh. 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 For all my brothers out here who's in the tech industry, do you feel the same way? Do you feel the same way? Can you tell that race has almost had a factor into how you're viewed and treated? Okay? Let's continue on. In many of the companies that I've worked for, if not in all of them, I've been one of, and sometimes the sole African American in my department. Oh, man. You know, this is something that we talk about and I've spoken with about quite a bit of the times. And I usually keep this sort of conversation to my Patreon members, but we're going to bring it out to the air. We're going to bring it out to the air because one of the things when I started Black Heights, I wrote an article on this. I was coming to Chicago, flying from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. First class treatment, flight looking great. First class, met a good brother of mine who's now a long-term friend, who's an author and so forth. And his experience was very similar to this. But I was coming to the United States to be in a executive meeting for our field leadership. So this is a leadership for the company that I work for, where there's maybe 100 leaders across the entire organization of about 5,000. And you're basically meeting on a yearly basis to understand and help senior executives learn what are some areas that they can focus on to make the business better. Your responsibility, your VP, your senior vice president, your area director, or your senior director, and so forth. It's a time to network. It's a time to get some training. It's a time to have some fun. I noticed out of the 100 people that were representing, or 100 managers and leaders that were a representative of their organization, that I may have been one or two of that person, right? One or two African Americans in that group. And here's the thing. When you live in the United States, the United States makes you notice that you're the only one a lot of the times. It's just what our culture is about. It's how our country is a lot of the times. It's what I've gotten used to. And as much as I'm comfortable in these situations now, for the young guy who's coming up in tech and seeing this the first time, they could be intimidated. They could say, tech is not for me. This doesn't happen just in the tech industry. This happens in the finance industry as well. This happens in other industries as well, too. This happens in every industry where you are a minority in a country. Okay? But this gentleman says, when you're the only black person in an office, you notice it. Well, when you're the only black person in a meeting of 100 people, you notice it. And I noticed it, guys. Okay? So the author says, glance around, you notice that no one looks like you, talks like you, or even has a story like you. Nobody has the gall to approach you and say, hey, out of the 40 people on this floor, you're the only black guy, but you sense that everyone else notices it too. If you've gone to a PWI, predominantly white institution, if you don't know what that is, PWI is like the majority of institutions that exist in the United States. If you've gone to predominantly white high school, I've had an opportunity to live in both worlds. Coming up and growing up in a place like Orangeburg, South Carolina, I went to a predominantly black school, 93% black, because the city of Orangeburg is heavily segregated. And still to this day it is. But going into my junior year of high school, I moved to Madison, Wisconsin. And I went to a school called Madison La Follette, which was a predominantly white school. And I was, I think, one of 4 in my graduating class. Okay? So I've had an opportunity to live in both worlds during this time. And it was an interesting experience for me, but I've had early exposure to it to where I think it's really helped me to navigate in the environments that I've been in today. Okay? But here's the thing. The author says you sense it from the stares you receive when you walk through the door, from the looks on people's faces when they find out you're competent at your job, from the alienation you feel after not being invited to lunch with your peers, and from the awkwardness they project when they try to engage you in everyday conversation. Interesting points here. Because I remember when I walked into my high school, my junior year of college, everybody wanted to know who that new guy is. Is he a football player? Is he a basketball player? Where is he from? He's from South Carolina. Boy, is he handsome. I don't know if they said that. But there was a lot of stares, right? There were a lot of stares. You look at people's faces and they want to know who you are. In society today, many of us get judged by our physical appearance. The majority of us do. If you have some stature, some size to you, you're athletic looking, you're probably going to get categorized as an athlete. So, of course, I got that treatment. Let me fast forward, though. Let me fast forward. Because when I became a professional as a software engineer, I walked through those same doors and got that same treatment as well. People were curious. Did you play high school ball? College ball? Where you come from? People write you off a lot of the times. Oh, we're not going to give him the math assignment. Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then you prove them wrong by being competent in your job. Now, the question is, though, do we do that to other people as well? That's the question I want you guys to think about, because I was enjoying a nice little conversation with some good friends of ours today. And they were at a vineyard early because they had the day off. And it was this lovely couple that they ran into that said that they enjoyed wine and so forth. And they started to get into a lot of the questions about wine, and the couple that we know realized really quick that this couple didn't know what the hell they were talking about. So they weren't competent. The judgment. The judgment. So let's get back to the article. You sense it from the stares you receive when you walk through the door, from the looks on people's faces, when they find out you're competent at your job, from the alienation you feel after not being invited to lunch with your peers, and from the awkwardness they project when they try to engage you in everyday conversation. I can tell you this. I don't recall not being invited to lunch. Maybe it's happened. Maybe it's happened. Maybe that has a lot to do with me, though. People wanted me around, and people continue to want me to be around. They want me to be around. People have always wanted me to be around. I've never had that experience where I haven't been invited to the party when there was a party. And if it happened, I'm sure it's probably happened before, but I don't know about it. I don't know about it. And I don't recall there being a lot of awkwardness in everyday conversations with people as well, too, because I'm a pretty open person. Conversational. I think my soft skills are relatively decent to where I can have a conversation with just about anybody. So, but maybe that's not your experience. Maybe that's not your experience. And I'm not saying that this author experience isn't right. I want to hear from you guys as well, too, though. But being black in tech, like being black in America, is an exercise of mental toughness. Your mind is constantly wondering, how long can I last? I can tell you one thing. I've had tough assignments. I made the video on the lady who tapped out from being a software engineer because she was an Asian lady in tech and she was a software engineer. You have to have mental toughness. She was doing diversity, equity, inclusion and felt like she didn't fit a lot of the time. Well, there are times where I've worked and I've traveled 268 days out of the year. You have to be mentally tough. And if there were times where I said to myself, how long can I last? And I still ask myself that question to this day a lot of times. But talking to people who are senior vice presidents, who are of different races, they have the same experience as well. At least from my perspective. How long can they last? Why are they wanting to put up with this? It isn't easy. It isn't easy. But let's get into the article to continue on. The underrepresentation of African Americans in tech has been an issue since the 1970s when the Bay Area became Silicon Valley. Around this time, Frederick Terman, former Stanford University Dean of Engineering, began encouraging his students to start their own companies. Soon after, the Bay Area became home to HP, Xerox, and then later Facebook, Apple, and Google. Though the lack of diversity at these companies have been questioned and criticized for decades, the problem hasn't gotten much better. Why, guys? That's the question that I want many of you to answer tonight. Why do you think that the problem hasn't gotten much better at all? Where's the gap? Is it the education? Because statistics show, this is statistics, Many of us don't choose to send measures. For the ones that do pretty well. Let's have the conversation. Let's have the conversation. In 2018, according to Silicon Valley Bank, only 1% of venture capital dollars went to Black startup founders, and Black employees made only 2.8% of Google technical roles and 4.8% of their entire workforce. That's an area that definitely needs to improve. But it comes with starting a business, being a founder, taking risk. And from my personal experience and growing up in a predominantly African-American community early on in my life, we weren't allowed to jump out of trees. You guys know the channel. There's a Red Bull channel out there, right? And I get so fascinated by the fact that you have cliff divers and you have people who are willing to slide down these long ramps and do some sort of crazy dives. What nationality or ethnic race are a lot of these people? Is it our culture to be more, let me use the right word here, reserved when it comes down to take risk, when it comes down to taking risk? Because a lot of times when I've had conversations with people about starting a business, they say, no, Anton, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you start a business? Why don't you just work the majority of your life? And you ask other folks as well, too. What do they say? What do people they say in their family when they say they're going to go out there and start a business? And I'm not talking about people who just don't have any success in life. I'm talking about for people who have achievements and have shown success. Even these people who has proven themselves over the years, when you tell people that you're going to start a business, they look at you like you are crazy. Whereas other cultures, when they say they're going to start a business, they get the encouragement to do so. Now, I've lived in both worlds. Good friends across both sides. I want to hear what you guys got to say about that. Let me get back to the article. All of this contributes to an environment that continues to be hostile toward African Americans, one that tells us you are not welcome. Guys, do you not feel welcome in tech? Do you not feel welcome in tech? You know, as a 38-year-old gentleman who's been in tech since 2006, I've been in tech for a good 15 plus years. I haven't felt unwelcome. I haven't felt unwelcome in the United States. So for you folks who come across this, I want you to live it through the eyes of not just the author that's writing it, but ask questions as well too. Because this message is no different than when you get close to the road, your mom saying, don't go close to that road. You get close to the tree, you want to explore it. You're going to fall out of the tree. You're going to fall. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to break your arm. You get close to the fire pit just to put your little marshmallows on it and make s'mores. Oh, that thing going to burn you up. Fear. Fear. I'm laughing right now because my sisters were in town some weeks ago and we're all sitting by the fire pit. And my son, Aegis, he goes close to the fire pit, not anywhere where the fire was going to touch him. And my sister said to him, don't get close to that fire, it's going to blow you up. And literally, my son does not get close to the fire anymore. And the first thing he says is, don't get close to that fire, it's going to burn you up. And when you hear this, are you going to be the person that takes risk in your life? Are you going to be the person that cliff dives? Become a Red Bull athlete? Are you going to be the person that starts a business one day and it be dominant across the entire world? Probably not, because you start a business, it's going to burn you up. Damn! All right, so we have to be very careful with the messaging that we're telling people a lot of the times, guys. As family, as husbands, as wives, as sisters, brothers, nephews, nieces, we have to be very careful. And we also have to look into what's being put in front of us as well. Because if it isn't your story, just be careful with what you are choosing to believe. Now, I'm not saying any of this is true, not true, because absolutely, I'm sure we're going to hear some people's experience tonight, and I'm not going to push back on anybody's experiences at all. But there's multiple ways to look at things as well, too. So over these same years, I have talked to many Black folks who will also work in tech, from technical support representatives and system engineers to network architects and programmers. We have swapped stories that would make your mouth drop. Stories about having the validity of our work badges questioned by the companies that employ us. Stories of white team members who perceive us as diversity hire and are surprised that our education were not paid for by sports scholarships. And stories of peers who are shocked that we didn't come from broken homes or that we can speak correct English. The amount of times we have heard, "You are so articulate when answering a question or speaking up at a meeting," is mind-blowing. Guys, I can tell you this, that's true. I would agree with especially that last piece of it. I've heard that a numerous amount of times, to where I don't even bother to be politically correct in my articulation anymore. I don't need to. Okay? I don't need to. To the point where I've gotten comfortable with what some of you guys may say is a stutter. My my coaching client said, "Antoine, have you always had that stutter?" And I'm like, I had a stutter when I was younger, but I didn't really notice it. Well, he noticed it. And it's a good thing. Because sometimes I do talk 1,000,000 miles per minute, and my mind is going like this, and my mouth is going like this, trying to catch up to it. But here's the thing. This happens. But guess what? when you get to a position of power, have a young person that comes into the room, doesn't matter what ethnicity he is, and he speaks proper English, could be white. You think the same thing about him. Man, you're pretty articulate. You're pretty articulate. You can do a role reversal if you get to a position of power. Right? You can say you speak really good English. Are you a diversity hire? You get in from nepotism? Knowing your boy? Because you ain't worth a damn. I look at people all the time like this. And even if I get a sense, I don't get that sense anymore that people question me because results speak for itself. But when you know that these guys don't have the results, you can be a person that questions them. Man, how did he get hired? How did you get hired? I love to use that when I meet people and they aren't delivering results. And when people who made the hiring decision were responsible for bringing them in, that back door, come on, man. Like, come on, man. You're going to bring that dude in? Yes, that's what you can do when you have results. And race doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. I say it all the time to people who bring in a bunch of crappy people. That's one thing that you guys will learn eventually if you get into sales, is that you're going to come across a bunch of people who can't deliver results. The majority of people aren't going to look like you. And if you don't look like me and you're watching this, I want you to do this. Consider other people and look at the people who are an example, who are doing well, and say, I need to do more of that. Okay? Let's continue on. All of these stories, along with the unending microaggressions, the mispronouncing of names, the questions about where we are really from, and all at the fact that we can fulfill and succeed at jobs we were hired to do, it wears on us, on me, mentally. To create real change, much work still needs to be done at the organizational and leadership levels. At the same time, Black people cannot afford to wait around for this change to take place. No. No. You can't wait. You can't be scared. You get close to that tree and somebody says, nah, man, don't go with that tree. You're going to break your arm. You're going to fall. When you fall, you climb that tree, you're going to fall off. You wait. You listen to that. Change is never going to happen. You want to follow the people who are ladder climbers who are in those positions right now and learn how they've gotten to those positions. And know that it's going to take one step at a time, and each and every single day, you need to make that step forward. And because your uncle, who's never been a manager before, says that, oh man, being a manager one day, all they're going to do is fire you and blame everything on you because that's their wicked mentality and they don't know shit. Don't listen to them. They heard this through somebody, not from their own experience. Okay? We deserve to take up space, move up, and thrive in big tech. And while we fight for more diverse, equitable, and inclusive workspaces, we should. Guys, that's why I talk about tech all the time. And believe me, this isn't just for Black men. This is for Black women, and this is for Indian women, and this is for, Indian, wherever you find this message resonating with you, because you may be the only one. And many of us feel like that. You could be an Italian. If it resonates with you, then I want you to see it the exact same way. If your family and your culture is holding you back from things because they're so reserved and afraid to take risks, look outside to others for additional help and see how other people are doing it to get to those points. And then you do it. If you are Black and you are interested in or currently entering the tech industry, know that it's not going to be easy. You are a minority in a sector that is incredibly slow in addressing race and diversity, but also know that you can find comfort and learn from people who look like you and who share your experience. It's true. That's why communities like this exist in PBO and Before the Billions and Kev IT Tech. All these guys have channels. They're communities that exist out here. If you need to find somebody that looks like you, great. That exists today. But now that the communities exist, put in the work. You know these companies aren't going to change overnight, but what are you doing to make the change? Your results are going to show that you belong there. Once you're there, that's going to open the door up for other people as well too. I can tell you like this right now. Me going into sales has helped many people go into sales for the company that I work for. Black, white, Asian, and all. Maybe they're not looking at it from a race perspective. Maybe they're looking at it from this perspective of, you know what? He came from a different organization and those skill sets translate over well. Or they could be looking at it the way how you think they're looking at it from a race perspective. It doesn't always have to be about race either. It could be just where did they fit? Where does this skill set fit? He comes from customer success, customer support, professional services. Well, that works well in the sales organization. We never looked at that before. Or it could be race. Who knows? But you can't just say it's race all the time. But what I would tell you is that communities exist today, like Black Heights, Professor Black Ops, Kev Tech IT Support, that you can count on that's going to help you get there if you want to get there. I've spent more than 2 decades of my life navigating this space, and I can be one of those people. I can offer you some advice. He's saying it himself. He spent 2 decades, 20 years. I'm at 15 or 16. That's why I give coaching. That's why I give mentorship. That's why I come on this channel to talk about this stuff. Stuff isn't easy to talk about. It isn't hard either. But below are 3 lessons I've learned during my time as an IT professional. These points are not meant to solve racism at work or convince tech companies to hire more African Americans. Rather, they are meant to provide you with the skills that you can use to navigate this industry, set healthy boundaries, and protect your mental health and your career development as you grow. On this channel, we talk a lot about career development, getting you to the bag. And if you want to get to the bag, this is the industry to get to it in. You aren't going to find any other industry that's going to pay you like tech does. None. The most powerful thing that you can do is be yourself. It's true. It's taken a long time to find authenticity. It takes years to find authenticity. But you have to be yourself, guys. The first piece of advice I can offer any black person coming into a predominantly white tech company is don't change yourself to fit in. Many times, as one of a few African Americans in the firm, I downplayed who I was and how I felt. And would code switch, ignore microaggressions, and bypass things that were not professional. Why? Because I wanted to fit in. I didn't want to be excluded or make waves, and I feared that if I did, I might be fired. Real talk, guys. Especially early on in your career. Don't let stuff slide that you don't agree with. No, you have to go about conducting things that you don't believe in a manner that's respectable. However, you can't just let things slide, guys, and you have to be yourself, and you have to stand for what you stand for. And being an only person in this industry, a lot of the times you want to fit in because there aren't many that look like you. Well, when you have communities like this that exist out there, hopefully that's going to help you to find your authenticity a lot sooner. I wish I had this. I wish this platform existed when I was coming up. I wish I had people talking to me about this sort of stuff. Now you got people talking about it. A couple of weeks ago, we had a gentleman that came on and shared his story. And we encourage him. Be yourself. Yes, you're going to be different, but be yourself. Yes, you're not going to have, people who look like you, but be yourself. Join committees or communities where people that are like you. Continue to be yourself. As humans, we learn the behaviors of people who were like the majority of the time. And if you're spending a lot of your time working in corporate America, working for people who don't look like you, it's quite natural for you to lose your authenticity. It's quite natural for you to do it. I've experienced that myself. Thank you, Miss Wade. Well, she brought me some water. Lovely wife. She brought me some water and a glass of wine. She must think that I mouth is getting dry or something. Let me make sure let me look at myself in the mirror real fast to make sure I'm not foaming at the mouth. I think, this is one of those shows where, you start preaching, right? I remember growing up in Orangeburg, we had a preacher, went to a Southern Baptist church, and there was a lady, her name was Miss Dantzler, and she used to preach. And when she used to get it, she used to be foaming out the mouth. You see a little spit, a little white stuff on the corner of her mouth. And when you get it, sometimes you notice you have white stuff at the side of your mouth. So I want to make sure I don't have white stuff on the side of my mouth, guys. Oh, I love to laugh at myself. I love it. But thank you, Ms. Wade. I appreciate you. But there are consequences to this. My coworkers felt comfortable making racist jokes around me. Wow. That isn't my words. That isn't my words at all. But the author says his coworkers felt comfortable making racist jokes around him. I hear sirens. They must be coming to arrest LeRon. Got a lot of laughs. Hey, man, there's other jokes that you can put back on other people as well, too. Right? One of the things that I would encourage is this. If you don't stand for that sort of a language, you make sure that you tell it to the people that says it, and you do it in an appropriate way. Or you can have a sense of humor and talk about the things that goes on as well too, because you know what goes on. All right. And I got buddies that of all nationalities, right? I lived in Malaysia and, traveled to India and Japan and all this stuff, right? I've been to over 48 countries, right? And I got friends from all over the world, and we all have our biases. We all know what each other's cultures do, right? We know that. But ultimately, you got to have a sense of humor as well, too. But if you don't stand for this stuff because you're new to your organization and you don't know people like that, then you make sure you address it. These kind of comments about black people were said often and just as often went unchallenged. I felt the constant stress of wearing two masks, one for work and the other for life. Understood what W.E.B. Du Bois wrote when he talked about the double consciousness, living as a black man through the eyes of society and himself. I struggle with that too myself, guys. You're in one world where you're making a lot of money and you feel like you're powerful and so forth, and you're in another world where you just don't even know. That's what America does to you. But I want you guys to know this too, is that the lens that America gives you is not always the lens that is correct. The lens that they want you to see and they want you to wear. And it's up to you to be able to figure out that that's not a representation of the world. It's a representation of a small subset of America that they want to control. That's why I encourage a lot of the times moving and traveling and not staying in the same city that you grew up in, and potentially even you get an opportunity to go to other countries, because you're going to see that the way how you think America treats you a lot of times isn't based on your own experience. It's based on the experience of others and what people tell or what you read or what you hear. But it isn't a lot of the times the experience of yourself. And me being a man who's been over 48 countries or traveled to 48 countries and lived abroad for quite some time, I don't believe a lot of this stuff because my personal experience shows me that that's not the case. And people are treated relatively fair in this country. And the more money you have, the better you're treated. And that's across all lines. It took me 10 years for me to grow tired of shrinking myself at work. I started to speak up for myself and for others. I brought attention to discussions that could be considered inflammatory by confronting the people who initiated them. I escalated these issues to management, but unfortunately, there were consequences to this too. Yep. There are. And there always will be. When you aren't in a position of power like that, you don't have anybody that's going to look out for you. When you aren't networked in and people say something sideways and you don't know somebody with a position of power, or you aren't liked by position of power, there's no consequences to a lot of this stuff, guys. That's just the reality of it. When I became more outspoken about race, how few black folks are employed in tech and how we are treated, I became known as that black guy. There were certain discussions and panels that I was not privy or invited to, opportunities not presented, and possibly even promotions that I did not receive. But I was more okay with those consequences than the ones that were born out of my silence. Speed it up. So I've been on this for quite some time. The second most powerful thing that you can do is to speak up. Being the only black person on your team often means that the other people begin to view you as a designated black expert. Whenever the questions come up, do black people like this, or why do black people do that? You will be the one that's approached first. I can tell you this, it's happened very few in my career, maybe, right? Maybe. Not in the corporate setting. Phone calls. Because people really want to understand what's going on. I can tell you this, when everything was going on back in, 2020, Maud Arbery and all this other stuff, I had more people call me to check up on my mental health that weren't like me, but also wanting to get my perspective on a lot of this stuff. And really sit back and listen. And it wasn't group designations. It was just more of a, I know you're a sound mind, Mr. Wade. You've always seemed to be pretty balanced. What's your thoughts on this? What's your perspective? And if I felt comfortable with this person, I'll say it. The whole point of this, guys, is this. Speak up when you need to. But no, there are times that you just need to say nothing. Okay? Especially if it's in a large group. There are times you just need to say nothing at all. That's not what works for. Interactions, even casual ones, become more tense. It has been in the moments like these that I've come to realize in my team's member eyes, I represent all black people, regardless of age, sociological background, nationality, etc. I want you guys to really get that out of your head going forward. Because there were times where I really thought that myself. At the end of the day, you don't represent all people. And if people think you're the representation of all people for that group, they're crappy people. Let's just put it like that. You are a representation of yourself and your family, and that's it. Once I started to realize that, the weight of being the guy that needs to walk around on eggshells in my, me being unauthentic just went away. No, if Johnny messes up and he's a black dude and he does something crazy, that isn't a representation of me. That's a representation of him and his family and his mom and his dad. Don't put me in the same category as Johnny. And if I hear any inkling of me being in that category, you can reverse it. Reverse that situation. Play it out. Let them hear it from your perspective. The majority of people really don't think like that the majority of the time. I think that's what we think that people think of us. Nah, Johnny's just crazy. No different than John, Daniel. They're just crazy. If you're going to have confrontation, have it. Confrontation is good sometimes. People respect you for having conversations, but do it in a respectful way. Here's the last thing that he said, because I'm going to skip through this because I want to make sure that I get to the chats and I open this up, and I want to hear from you guys. Finally, know when to ask for help. Whenever I give a talk at a corporation, I stress if someone files a complaint about racism, it is everyone's responsibility to address it. Once this happens, everyone needs to stop, direct their attention towards the incident, and listen. One of the biggest failings I've seen in tech management is their lack of ownership. If you tell your manager that you have experienced discrimination, that you feel a work environment is hostile, or that you've seen an act of racism, know that your concerns are always valid and they deserve to be taken serious. Yeah, Sadly, in my experience, these complaints are almost never taken serious, and there is very little, if any, discipline issued to offending party. The first instance of most of the supervisors and managers have dealt with is to put the blame on the person being discriminated against. Tell them they need to learn how to take a joke or explain away the racist incident as an example of cultural insensitivity. Guys, I can tell you this, man. Right? I was the gentleman who promoted me to a senior director before 4 months after I had just became a director. Didn't look like me at all. He was a short, stocky, white guy, right? To this day, I can pick up the phone and call him. He's a 70, close to 80-year-old man. And I remember when I first met him in a meeting in Scottsdale, Arizona. We were all around a table in a, meeting, discussing the organization and so forth. And we had just been acquired, and he was trying to get an understanding of how the company operates and all this other stuff, right? And I spoke up, and I, just remember walking down the hall, and he said, "Man, Antoine, you like a bouncer." And I took offense to that, guys. I took offense to it. And I came home and I said to my wife, and I was like, man, I swear this guy he was racist and so forth. Little did I know, 2 weeks later, I was promoted by the same guy. And I asked a question when we had dinner one night. I said, Ken, what do you mean by that? He was like, Antoine, physically, you are a presence. You are a presence, Mr. Wade. That's what I love about you. That's your natural gift. The way you speak, the way you command the room. You ever walk to a club and you just saw that big dude that was there in front of it that was stopping anybody else from just running up in that place? That's you. And he meant it in a positive intent. Yet in my eyes, I thought he meant it in a negative intent. But he was still yet the guy that was responsible for getting me that bag. So I want you guys to understand this too, is that if you know, then you know. If you don't know, then be curious to try to ask as well too. Don't just assume that that's where people are coming from, because I say this, the majority of people are pretty good in this world. And the majority of people aren't going to be an idiot. And if they are an idiot, then you call them out on their idiot shit. But have the conversation. Okay? Have the conversation. When this happens, okay, well, I'm going to move past. Let me answer these questions for you. All right. If management is not addressing your report of discrimination and racism escalates, schedule time with your manager's manager and explain why you are raising the issue to them. If that person does not address it properly, go to their manager. Do not be afraid to continue to escalate the issue. The highest level of this would be reporting it to the human resources. Yeah, so guys, at the end of the day, if you are getting this attention that's ultimately making you feel uncomfortable, woman, guy, any of this sort of stuff, yes, you need to raise it. You need to speak up. Go get help. Go get help. I agree. But I can tell you this, in my personal experience, I haven't experienced that. And I want to hear from you guys as well, too. What has been the situation? Have you had to go to the, HR? Have you had to call out racism in tech? I want to hear from you guys. Okay? Let me jump over to the chat. And then I'll open it up for a phone call. I've been chirping and chirping and chirping and chirping. Oh, gosh. Oh, we got, look at this. We have some super chats in here, but let me do this. I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to open this up and I'll get to the super chats before it's over. Okay? But I want to hear from you guys. And don't be afraid to come on and tell your story. I told mine. Guys. I want to hear what your stories are as well, because you have people who say, you know, all the time, don't get close to that fire, you're going to burn up. Don't climb that tree, you're going to fall off and break your neck. Right? And is that what's causing many of us to not choose to climb the ladder and get to this bag and get to positions of power? You go up that ladder, you're going to hit that glass ceiling. You're going to kick you down. You're going to be on that ladder. They're going to snap it from under you. Who gives a damn what they do? Happens to them too. Get to the money, guys. Get to the money. All right. I'm having a good time over here if you guys haven't been able to tell. Oh gosh. Let me do this. Let me hit the invite. Let me copy the link real quick. All right, guys. I want to hear from you. Miss Wade, if you don't mind, can you turn the AC on, babe? I appreciate you. Your husband in here in front of all these lights. All right, let's get to the super chat, guys. JT Cormers, I appreciate the $1.99. Michael Graham, $5. Yes, sir. Just because, Gabe, man. I appreciate you, Gabe, man. I appreciate you, Michael. I appreciate you, Gabe. Guys, thank you so much for these super chats. Blind Guy, his wife, Delight, the best couple in YouTube. Corey and Laquita, salute to the host in the chat. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Ashton James, thank you so much for the super chat as well. Dr. Dix is in the house, man. That's my brother right there. So, Dr. Dix, if you got an opportunity to come on and give your experience, I would love to hear from you, Gabe. Any of you guys, come on, talk about it. Asher Kills, $10 super chat. Dr. Dix says this is for the six-pack of Michelob Ultra. I appreciate that, brother. Michelob Ultra has some very low carbs. I appreciate that, man. Asher Kills says, people have commented that I speak well, but I don't take it as an insult because I do speak well. I have a deep voice made for radio. Laughing out loud, guy. Asher, you're absolutely, I love that. I love that. If you getting complimented, love it. Own it. That's what makes you unique, Asher. I hear it myself. Antoine, you do radio. Do you sing? No, I don't do any of that stuff. Maybe I'll do it in my next life or something like that, right? But it's an accomplishment. It's a I can't even say the word right now. It's a compliment. That's what it is. It's a compliment, guys. Use critical thinking, $5. Meanwhile, Africans are coming here and not saying that they're being held back. We need less ADOS FBA with defeatist attitudes. Agreed. Get it done. People are coming over here. You see these salaries that I talk about all the time. People are coming from other countries a lot of the times, right? The only reason they're able to get to these salaries and report on them is because they're looking at statistics from H-1B visas. So these tech jobs a lot of the times are getting sourced to foreigners. You want to make $280,000 a year? Get in the tech. That's why I talk about it. Get in the tech. We need you in the tech. Oh, we got Brother Gabe in the house, man. Brother Gabe, can you hear me, man?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. What you got on the topic tonight, brother? Well, first of all, before I even get there, how are you doing? Long time no talk, brother.
I'm doing good, man. Hold up 1 second. I want to change my microphone to see if that works. So I know you're doing super chat, so I'll just let you know when
Yes,
it's
sir.
coming. So I'll
Absolutely,
go on mute
absolutely.
for now.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. And when you're ready, you just let me know, okay? I'm gonna go through some of the comments on here as well, brother Gabe. And then when you're ready, come on in, okay? All right. So Gabe says, I
Yep.
don't feel
We'll
the
do.
same way, but I can't say that I have the same experience as that brother. And so let's just say that's the reason why I'm having this call today too, guys, because I want to hear what we've experienced in this tech industry. Many of us have been in this industry for 15 plus years, like myself. Many of us have only been here. Many of us, like Professor Black Ops, have been here for 30 years. Brother Jabron has been in this industry for about 15, 16 years as well too, right? But I want to hear what you guys' experiences are. And I'm not saying that my experience is right. I'm not saying the brother who wrote this article's experience is right or wrong. But I like to, that's the thing, right? When I read these articles, I like to kind of shape it and listen to it based on my own personal views and my own personal experience as well too. And I want to hear from you guys on what your experiences has been. Okay? Michael Graham says, fine dining, hospitality management will suck your life away. Man, I love some fine dining, man. I tell you one thing, when we in Houston this week, Michael, we're going to be going to Vic and Anthony, one of my favorite steakhouses, man. If you're in Houston, brother, join us. Deuce X Machina, same in Pharma, Las Asians, Indians, and whites. You know what? It's what it is. It's true. It's true. All right, so Brother Gabe said he's ready. Come on in, brother. What you got on the topic, my man?
Man, this is a really good topic. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you just fine. Guys in the chat, can you hear Brother Gabe? If you can hear Brother Gabe, just leave me a one in the chat as well. I want to make sure that they can hear you too, Brother Gabe.
Check one, check two. Test
Bernard
one.
Scott, super chat.
I forgot
Software
what they
quality
say.
assurance is an untapped market. $9. I appreciate the super chat, Vernon. Brother Gabe, I think they can hear you. Go ahead and the mic is on you, sir.
Absolutely. I think that this is a really interesting topic because.
Uh-oh, Brother Gabe. Sorry, 1 second. Hold on, Brother Gabe. 1 second.
How about now?
I can hear you now. You're good now. You're good, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say, I think it's a really interesting topic because what happens is that I don't think, where to start, man? It's hard to start off on the topic. I don't even know where to start. There's so many different things. Is it a particular area you want me to start at or just?
Nope. I say this, Brother Gabe, right? I hit every part of this article based on my experience and my feedback. Whatever point you want to bring up, brother, go ahead and hit it. I want to hear your experience on any aspect of it. You may not have recalled every point of it, but give us your experience being in tech as a black man. Gabe, you've been in tech for a long time. Tell your story, brother.
I think that my story is pretty long, but let me start off at one of these topics, right? Yeah. So I think that and just like you said, I think you said it already. I don't think it's important to I think it's important not to invalidate this brother's experience. He had this experience. He went through this, and he's speaking out about it. And I think that that's definitely valuable. But at the same time, I don't think that his experience should be the only voice or the only experience that represents all black males within tech. Because just like you said, right, like you haven't experienced the same things that he's experienced. So I think that that's one point I wanted to start off with. And two is that I think that towards your comment about, I think he said that he never felt like he belonged. And that kind of hit a nerve with me because I'm like, because I thought about myself, right? I'm like, do I belong in tech, right? Has anybody, put out on the red carpet and I don't know, came over with a apple pie and said, welcome to tech type of thing, right? and I can say I haven't had that experience. Right. But I have had the experience of working hard, learning the subject matter so that I can become a subject matter expert in my field. Yeah. I have been known for the track record of executing positively on my projects and delivering the things that I said that I would deliver. I have had the experience of learning more and more and more in order to establish myself within my organization and within my field. And I think that more validates me to be welcome into this field rather than somebody welcoming me. Like I don't feel the necessity to be welcomed because I belong. I've made my place. I've made my bed. So I think that those are just a couple of points I want to start off with. But I've never been welcomed, but I've moved in.
My
and
question
I belong
for you is
that.
this, Gabe, right? I love that.
Yeah.
I love that point because here's the thing. We're in tech. Do you see anybody else getting the red carpet treatment?
No.
I agree with that.
Other than family members. Sometimes I can see the family member thing, but I have not seen it.
Yep. If you don't deliver results, it doesn't matter what. This is what I've seen, and I love you said that, Gabe. If it's about your results, if Gabe has put in the extra work to become an expert or a subject matter expert or a person who is delivering results, he's going to get treated with red carpet after he's proven himself, right? And that may come in the form of president's clubs or whatever rewards or whatever it is, or just you being that person that people go to all the time and say, you know what, I got a cybersecurity question. I'm gonna go to brother Gabe. I have XYZ, or I need Gabe to speak. That is your red carpet at that point, right? And a lot of people just don't understand that. A lot of people think that when you're in, just because you're in tech, you're going to get the red carpet treatment. No, nobody gets that. That's not how corporate works. Corporate is a competition. And if you don't compete or if you don't get results, you are getting the hell out of there. At least that's from my experience, Gabe.
Same experience here. Same experience.
You got anything else on the topic, brother? What else you got?
Man, I want to pass the mic and feed off on other people's. It seems like two other brothers are in here.
Yes.
So I will yield the mic to the other brothers.
All right,
and
brother.
Then jump in
all right,
later.
brother. Let's do this before the billion is on. But let me go to Tim LaFour because he came in first. Tim, can you hear us?
Hello.
How are you, brother?
Good. Just I don't have the tech background transition into tech. This is no limit on the YouTube. It pops up, and I correspond with you earlier.
Brother Tim, I hope you are doing well. We're gonna get those 3 X's to you, man.
I look forward to it. Did you get those information I get with Chris Johnson with IT Academy? Because you guys gotta work together to collab though and everything. So I look forward to seeing an interview on YouTube soon.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that connection, man. So guys, see, here's the thing, guys. And I talk about this, your network and all this other stuff, right? Brother Tim is connecting me with another good brother that's connected through another good sister of ours and so forth. When you have people like this that watch your channel and your content, that know people and movers and shakers, they can make stuff happen. And Brother Tim has done me a good favor, and I'm gonna take him up on that relatively soon to have a connection. So let's move to the topic. Brother Tim, what you got on the topic tonight, brother?
I'm just getting educated about what am I most likely going to encounter or will not encounter from my experience, and just budging all in, as well. Just want to touch bases with you.
Yep.
That's all with that. And I think you great channel. I think you're doing an overall great job and keep up the great work as well.
Man, I appreciate you, Tim, man. So you're not in tech, but tell me this, man. What do you think you're going to experience based on what people say a lot of the times, man?
Well, I think every job in industry has its pros and cons in general, because I came from a teaching background, work with probationary youth, but I got laid off due to the COVID, so it's a bit of a transition for me in general. And there's pros and cons with that, like any other industry. But I'm seeing is just you got to be more on your P's and Q's as an African American male, but that's just with any industry in general that I've seen, whether it be in the teaching space or tech or whatever it may be.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. You just have to be on your shit. And I just say this, right? Whether I say this, I don't think it's just, I think the conversation really hits towards an African-American male, but, because that's who we are and that's the representation a lot of the times of the folks on this channel. But I think it's just everybody. At least that's my personal experience.
Yes, true.
Because, being in sales, I can tell you this right now. I've gotten a lot of leeway compared to other people who didn't look like me as well, right? Where people like look at me as the golden boy, right? And right. And some other people who don't look like me, they don't get that sort of treatment. So, I think it comes down to just, like Brother Gabe said, results and so forth. At least that's been my experience, Brother Tim. Let me do this. Yeah. I'm going to pass it over to Before the Billions, our good brother, to have him come on and give his experience as well, too, man. Before the Billions, man, how are you doing, brother?
Doing well. Glad to be on here. How are you doing today?
I can't complain. It's a good Monday. I can't complain, man. I can't complain at all, brother. What you got on the topic tonight, man?
Yeah, I really resonated with this topic. I was like, man, I need to make a video on this too. Right? I was like, man, because a lot of, as you saw in the chat, I was explaining how my experience was, or is still going on. My experience is as a Black data engineer, and just like how you're saying, it isn't just for Black people, but as a Black man, I can relate to that specifically. And the thing that I wanted to say is that I have never had the you are so articulate from anybody. I've never heard that one before. I do try to articulate exceptionally well when I am in corporate. I will say that, but I have most definitely been passed over for promotions before. Definitely, I know I have had many videos in the past where I was talking about the pros and cons of being a contractor. I have Professor Black Ops on my channel talking about that as well. And his and our experiences are going to be different. But as somebody who's coming into the tech industry, right, is you'll have a contract between the employee and the employer, right? And of course, the contract is that I'm supposed to be working enough to not to get fired, and then providing that value. But then the employer is also going to be paying me the benefits and also the cash, the equity, whatever other benefits, and just enough so that way I don't quit. Right now, with that being said, you can most definitely get into the tech industry. Let's say that you went the 4-year degree route, like how I did. You get in there, you work exceptionally hard. You can go in, you can get a contract position or a full-time position, and then you'll be able to solve extremely intense and complicated bugs and problems, and you still may not get rewarded for those things, right? So it's no guarantees in life in general, but it is something that I wanted to point out is that you're gonna have to work exceptionally hard, and then there's no reward for if you don't take time off. There's no reward for if you fix an issue. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be something that you have to be able to work hard regardless of if you're going to get a reward or not. But you also have to be able to leverage your network, just like how you bring up all the time. I got Professor Blackhouse, got Gabe Bay on the chat too. You know what I mean? That's a network, right? We have these people who have many years of experience, and they're able to give advice, but also be able to maybe match with you on LinkedIn and tell you the game. So I'm appreciative of everybody who I've met on YouTube, but also in my own career as well. I'm just starting off, and I have a long way to go.
So tell me this.
I do have a quick comment.
Go ahead,
if it's okay.
Absolutely.
About the contracting. So a lot of times, and I did the contracting work for a while too, right? Whether it was government contracting or whether contracting directly with an organization. And the thing about contracting is that a lot of times organizations don't bring contractors in order to I guess progress within that organization. Like, I learned quickly that contractors had a different relationship with the employer than full-time employees. The full-time employees are expected to be the individuals who are there long-term. Those are people who they're like, okay, we see these people for supervisors and managers type of positions, but contractors are typically brought in to perform a particular task, work hard, get paid much more than that of a full-time employee. But as it concerns career progression, a lot of times organizations don't look at contractors or career progressors unless they bring you on full time. And I had to learn that for being in the office and working as a contractor. Not to say contracting is bad, but if you're looking at those promotions, if you're looking at being moving up within that particular organization, contracting is typically not the main way that you do that. A lot of times they want people that are hired on by that organization.
Facts.
Oh, I don't know. Professor Black is saying something different. Or
no, I'm just gonna chime in. You're 100% correct. I make a lot of money, and I'm leaving after 3 years to get more money. That's the
plan. Yeah.
Well, when you think about it this way, right, gents? So you're absolutely right, Gabe. And here's the thing, right? You got to think about it from a company perspective. Why is it that I'm going to invest a lot into you where I know it's just for a short amount of time? Right? Where I know what your ultimate goal is eventually is to, potentially complete a mission and be done. Why won't I invest into an employee who I think is going to be around for a little bit longer of a time? So I get it from the business aspects of it where, if you come in as a contractor, they're not going to look at you as being the next, CEO. I mean, unless you come in and do something really exceptional. But the majority of the time you're coming in just to complete a mission, and unless you're in a contract to hire, right? If you're in a contract to hire, then that may be a little bit different situation. But my understanding a lot of the times is there's specific contracts for a lot of these projects, and once the project's done, they kind of wipe the hands behind, to say, you know what, we're done. And if it works out from a business perspective to keep you on to do something else because you're super talented, then the company may do that as well too. But I don't think they look at you overall for, an investment opportunity to say, hey, Professor Black Ops, you're about to be our next vice president of security or InfoSec.
Yeah.
Can I make one more comment on that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, B2B. Go ahead and comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was going to say that when you brought up the contract to hire, is that there's a plethora of contract to hire positions out there for a lot of people. Usually it's between 6 months, and then with the extension usually. So usually it's going to be 6 months to hire, or it can be up to a full year up to hire for a lot of these people, especially in Atlanta, Georgia. And also, I will say this is that, even though you may sign on as a contract to hire, they can just treat you as a contractor. And then you'll just be extended and extended and extended, and never get to the actual hire part. And then that's not necessarily saying that you are going to be making extreme amounts of money or anything like that. I actually looked up my salary, and I was like, what? I was on the low end. I was like, wait a second, I'm supposed to be on the high end, right?
But, that's why I think that you should purposefully contract. A lot of times, I think probably the best reason to contract is to gain additional skills in that area, right, of expertise, and then get out of there, right? Yeah. Because a lot of times you need to get as much as you can from that, pretty much experience and skills is really what you're looking for from a contract check role, typically, overall. But I would say get as much as you can and then dip, because they don't have long-term aspirations for you. So you shouldn't have long-term aspirations for that organization unless you're trying to come in as a full-time employee. But if they keep extending it, then listen, I got to get up out of here because they just trying to keep me on. But sorry, I'm gonna let you go ahead.
And I respect
PBO, I got the OG on. I got PBO and Tony, we're gonna get to you, brother. I'm glad that you joined us. Thank you so much for joining. But PBO, you've been in this game for a very long time, brother. And one of the things I brought up was, the stuff that this gentleman said he experienced in the workforce, right? Of, being the only one, experiencing racism, having to deal with sort of stuff. I can say this. Maybe I've experienced, a third of this stuff, if that, through my career. Don't get me wrong. There's been situations where I've thought about a lot of this stuff. I had never had an HR situation. I never had anybody come at me sideways. I thought things a certain way, and then when I look back at it and I question it, it was always in the I was potentially, my lens was off. Give me your experience as being a man who's been in tech for the years that you've been in the tech, what's been your experience like, brother?
Like you said, I think overall it's been positive. I think I probably had 2 or 3 situations I thought kind of went sideways. But the weirdest thing, kind of like you, this is big white dude I work with, DOD. His head was shaven. He was mean. I thought the dude was a skinhead, man. So I work. He comes up to me, goes, I know how much you getting paid. They're not paying you. I just won a contract and I want you to come work for me. I'm like, okay. So the dude I thought was the skinhead gave me the biggest break. And I'm gonna say it on your channel. That dude paid me $72 an hour. We worked up to sundown. It's about 95. My first month check was $18,000. And I'm gonna tell you that the other crazy part was that's when you had to put it in the bank and they held it. The bank didn't let it clear for 3 weeks. I had to borrow money for him so I could eat. And it was crazy. So now I've been blessed on both sides. We cool to this day still.
And you thought he was going to be the problem.
Oh, he was the problem, but he was the problem for everybody. I thought it was me, but he was crappy to everybody. But I was only one, but I wasn't scared to work with him. So long story short, he was like, it was called integration team. Back then it wasn't no Jenkins. So I took all the Oracle code. I had to compile it by hand. So I would get all the errors out. It was teams in 5 states. I would send them out and he was running everything and he took it serious. So I would just be checking them out for him. I like, this is where I'm doing, this is the people. So he just taught my work ethics. Then currently, like before the billions, I think I was making 75. He gave me that black height answers. He goes, dude, the contract is worth 130. You only get 30%. I'm gonna give you 70%. I'm gonna take 30 because I'm giving you benefits. Then I brought in 2 people. He really scared me. He goes, I'm gonna give you a little raise. He gave me 95 of the 110 because we were cool. Wow. I was at Vegas making it rain. That's all I'm saying. I was at Vegas. I wasn't married yet. but no, like you said, sometimes you project because I'm from the 80s. I was one of the first class busts in Indiana. When I first went to middle school, they burnt the cross and you can see the burn marks. So I fight. I'm ready to fight, man. So anything going sideways, I'm a little jumpy, man. So, but now he's the coolest dude. I call him to this day. He's an Oracle SME, Oracle expert. You know, I'm getting on AWS. We go back and forth. So you just one thing I do like about Gabe is he's super corporate and he's super intentional. Gabe ain't wishy-washy. He's a super focused sometimes. I get worried about before the billions. He's young. I think he'd be swimming a little bit. I need to get him going straight. He's my little brother. He'd be a little confused. And I kind of attacked him one time because he'd be on it. But I'm like, young man, you got to get out your feelings, man. This is a business. If you make a profit, you stay. If you don't, you're going to get cut. If you're not getting what you need to leave too, because it's on both sides. You a grown man, you can make your own moves. And he's taking on that, and I see him growing just on a little time we playing with YouTube. So that's what I try to come and bring to the table. If anybody need me, call me, because I'm the oldest guy. I've been eating too many Frisco melts. I ain't gonna live long, so I'm trying to, help everybody out as quick as I can, man. Yeah. Shout out to Miss Wade. I'm trying to get her that Birkin bag. I'm working on it, Miss Wade. I'm working on it.
You're gonna be paying for it too, people.
Nah, but be very intentional. Get out here, and some people gonna be on your side. And 2 is, let's be honest, there's 1,000 IT jobs out there. So if this place ain't feeling it, you ain't feeling it, just move. Don't overact it. Don't try to climb Mount Everest and be King Kong. Just move. It's a lot of work out here. Just move.
I love it.
Right. And also, congratulations, Professor Black, also on the 1,000 subscribers.
I appreciate it.
Oh, big time. That's big time right there.
No. I'm about 600 watch hours on the back end, so I got to put a little work. I got to be on all night, like before the billion. Be on at 1 a.m.
I got to jump on your playlist and just keep on playing. Let's get
I appreciate it. But that's a cool thing, though. I like this panel, and I like Before the Billions First Gen. Because I like to see them young dudes become. I keep calling them Generation Next, man. And IT is just so fluid. And Gabe's out there with the nuclear physicists, engineering cannabis. Just so many people out here putting in work, man. You can always reach out to any of us, man. I'm definitely gonna help you.
I appreciate
that. Gabe, no, I'm a DOD STIG specialist in that federal space. That's how I eat.
I love it.
No, you good, man.
I love it. So we got another gentleman who joined us. Tone, what's happening, man? How are you doing tonight, sir? What you got on the topic, man?
How do I get
You already in here, brother. You are
Oh, you
already
hear
in
me?
here. Yes, we see
Oh,
you.
so y'all hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can hear you just
All
fine.
right, all right, all right. My fault. I don't normally do the Zoom stuff. No, I'm just basically a newbie to the whole world. You know what I mean? I'm a student, so I follow Black Heights because I just be trying to get the game. Like me, I'm a truck driver. I've been driving trucks for like 10 years, and like now, I don't have no kids to worry about. They did the college thing and all that, so it's like it's just all about me now. It ain't about do what I got to do with this trucking. Is do what I want to do. And I actually found out about STEM when listening to Kevin Samuels, because he went to Oklahoma University or something like that. And I did my due diligence. I was like, ain't that's for nerds? That's me coming from Philadelphia. I'm from the inner city. So I'm thinking that was just a nerd thing. Too many people, if people go to college, it'd be nursing at best. You know what I mean? It's like social work. I'm from a blue collar city. So when I moved to Atlanta and I started dating chicks, and Atlanta is like a big tech city.
Yep.
So
Georgia
I mean,
Tech.
girls, it's like I meet girls that do IT. I'm like, she's just a regular chick. That's how I'm thinking, right? So I'm like, do you gotta be like a nerd to do that tech stuff? So long story short, Kevin Samuels and the chicks, and then it was me. I said, when I knew I wanted to get out the truck, I just got tired. I wanted to enjoy my new city. So I ran across this place that like help people get their forklift certification. That's what I wanted to do, take a break. So it was a test, an assessment test to get in. And it was like, okay, here go the test for everything else, but here go the test for everything plus C#. So I
As
took
a
the assessment.
test, Tone? They gave you a C# test?
Yeah, they gave me a C#. So I'm like, you know what? I'm good at taking tests. So I might as well just, see what I could get. So I give me the hard test. And I wound up passing it. And lo and behold, COVID came.
Wow.
So it was like, everything, like I went there, I found out I passed, and then I swear to God, next week COVID hit. So now I'm in Philadelphia because, being close to my family at that time, I didn't know what COVID was going to be. So I wound up getting this class. I've been like, basically, when I came up here and I was like, okay, what's next after trucking? I downloaded some apps, on my phone, picked up a book about HTML, CSS, and yada yada. And something else I did. I can't think of it, but I downloaded the apps and I, did the books, basically just to see what it is, and bought me a laptop. And because when they told me I could pass, I was like, damn, I got the smart this computer stuff. So that's what it is. I'm like, I'm Googling salary. And I'm like, nah.
You see
so
how much money they can make.
Yeah. So I'm up here driving from New York to Washington State to make what I could make. And I'm like, these people at home, and then when the COVID hit, and I hear about how people was like working out their own houses and stuff like that. They safe, they around their family and stuff like that. Yep. I'm like, me coming off of the road, I'm like, I could finally enjoy my city. I could finally work on having a family. You know what I mean? Like the right way, because I'm a baby father. But just do things the right way. And I'm like, this is what I want to get. So when I start messing around and start messing with little projects and stuff like that, I kind of liked it because I always been like a computer guy.
Yeah.
But I never knew in depth like how to code. So, and then when I'm looking at the statistics, I was like only 5% of people of our color in code. One of the things that I really want to do besides the money and all that stuff, what I want to do for my community, because I come from humble beginnings, and I'm like, damn, this is $1 million ticket that kids in my neighborhood don't know about.
Yes.
So what I want to do is open up a nonprofit. You know what I mean? Because when you got these gurus and stuff talking about give me $100 an hour to sit down with you to give you the game. I'm like, come on, man. Like, how can people that come from where or where y'all come from, you know, people, black folks ain't born rich. So I'm like, how can people that where we come from, we don't got $100 to pay per hour to sit down with somebody to get something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like,
yep.
Luckily, like me, like I said, I kind of know how to find things. I'm a Googleologist, if you want to call it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's the best search tool that exists out there, and that's what most people should use in order for them to get the information that they need. They just need to put in the time to actually go and do that.
But unfortunately, everybody got a smartphone, but everybody ain't smart. Unfortunately.
Say it again, brother. Well, so let's speed it up, Tone. Let's speed it up. So what are you ultimately doing now, brother? What are you ultimately doing now?
Right now, I'm taking this online course right now. It's called OSU University for Computer Science and Computer Science and Data Specialist. It basically gives you the whole curriculum. It's different classes from like EDX, Corsica, and it's all free.
Nice.
They just get to the meat and the bone. They take out the stupid stuff like art history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All them stupid classes that prolong it for 4 years. Actually, if you put the effort into it for free, you don't get the diploma, but you get the education in 2 years.
Yep. So what are you ultimately going to do with that? You think you're going to go down the route of a programmer or a developer or what?
Developer. I was talking to someone in GitHub, like one of them groups, and I just found out about what blockchain is.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that blockchain was like crypto and all that stuff, which I believe is the future. It's just we don't understand it yet. But that's what it's all going to boil down to, especially after seeing how this metaverse thing is working.
We done had the conversations about that already, Tone. I'm like, right.
I got a question for Tone.
Yeah.
This is Tim right here. I got a cousin I'm trying to persuade to go in IT as well, but he's really interested in going to trucking because he has a baby on the way. And typically what I've seen, friends that are trucker, they usually go in it for like 3 or 4 years, and then they say, hey, I want to get out of it. Or what would you suggest or advise or just your feedback on the situations? You got like 10 years of trucking.
All right, well, if he need to get, like, I never tell nobody not to get the CDL license. Like, I'm never going to let my CDL license go away because once I start making money in tech, I'm going to buy a bunch of trucks because I know the business. So I'm going to have a trucking business on the side. So if he got a baby on the way, like I said, I was in trucking because I had to take care of mine. So get the money. It's companies that you could go to like KLM instead of like paying to get, paying to taking out loans to get a CDL license. You could go to some companies and they pay for you to get the CDL license. So you could basically learn and earn at the same time. And you ain't going to get paid as much as you would be if you had experience. That's anything that you get into. But let's say as a rookie, $700 a week ain't bad. You know what I mean? If you really get to it, you know what I mean? If you're driving 550 miles a day, that's like you driving for 9 hours a day. Yeah, you'll get to it. So yeah, like, and that's normally what it is. That's been my thing. It was like after 3 years, that's probably like when you grind up, got your money right, you buy your house, and it changed my life. You get your house and you got all that stuff, but you on the road, you can't enjoy the fruits of your labor. That's when the 3-year thing kicking in. So what I advise to him is get a CDL license, get to it, take care of his family. But you got he can learn IT like whenever he's at the truck stop. After he's down for the day, he might can't study that much, but do a self-paced program. Where you go work at your own time and just your downtime instead of watching the game or playing your PlayStation because you got TVs and all that stuff in the back of your truck. Invest that time in getting the tech because he will get tired of that truck. He will, especially if you got a family waiting for him already.
Yeah,
he gonna want to be around that. He gonna want to see his kid grow up.
So Tone. So Tone, I got a question. I wanna ask this question as well too, because I love what you're saying here. Now my question is I am completely oblivious when it comes down to trucking and stuff like that. How long does it take to get what is it, what's the license called?
CDL?
A CDL?
Yeah.
How long does it take to get a CDL?
It all depends what path you took. Me, I took a 6-month course.
Okay, so it took you 6 months. Now,
yeah.
Here's what I would say, right? You guys seen Master Rob IT, who's come on this channel, right? Yeah. You guys have seen the articles. What's that?
I actually, because when I took this course and realized it was 2 years, I was like, because I seen him on Erica Williams' channel.
Yep.
And I was like, I could snatch up an IT joint real quick and still do my studying. Because right now I'm driving a forklift. IT will pay way more than,
Yes, that's my point. That's my point, Tone. Right. So from the timing perspective, right? If you think about it, if it takes a CDL, let's just say 6 months.
No, that was me. That was me. Hear what I'm saying? That was me.
That was
you.
Okay.
Have places,
on average, do you know what the average is, Tone?
No. What I'm saying, the school I went to is like the Harvard of truck driving.
Oh wow.
And it's like, but it's only in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore. So I don't, chances is you ain't in one of them 3 cities. The world is so big.
Right.
But I advise to go ahead to a company like hear what I'm saying, KLLM. Go with them, right? That's who I would suggest. Call them up, and what they'll do is put you on there. They're going to give you a week to get your CDL permit. That week, study. In the morning, you're going to go to orientation. You're going to be done at 4. Get off at 4. Read the you know how like you get the manual when you try to get your regular driver's license. It's the same way with CDL. When you get the manual to get your CDL permit. Your CDL permit. Study. They're going to give you a week to get that. Then after that, then they're going to teach you how to drive for like 3 weeks. It's 30 days to get it to a company. Then they're going to have you on the truck with a trainer for about like 12 weeks because they want you to just go from, coast to coast, up in north, east, southwest. Just go through all the different terrains and different weather. And then they'll give you your truck. So that's the quickest way. That's why I'm like, I had the long route.
Right.
But,
but you're an expert at it now because, you've been doing it for some time. But I guess my point.
7 years.
Yeah. Right. So how many years?
11.
Wow. You're an expert at it, right? And that's something that you will always have a skill set. And my question, the reason why I brought that up was just because of the fact of, if you think about it, let's just say on average, it's 3 months. It took you 6 months, but let's just say 3 months. I don't know if that's a fact or not, but people can go out there and Google it. It takes, to get a IT certification. I think you can get an IT certification within 30 days to 90 days, right? Just imagine, certain IT certifications. Guys go out there and validate it, but I think when I had the conversation with Master IT, you can get like 3 certifications within 90 days if you really are hard for it, right? And that's like A+, Security Plus, or whatever it is, right? Just imagine if he went that route, right? And not to push back on the trucking because it's a skill that could be used. But the question is do you think that it's better to go towards the IT, knowing that it's going to be quicker and the upside is faster? To get to the bag, it's faster. You know what I mean? Right?
I see. Hands down.
Yep. That's what I thought. That's what I thought as well too.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? Go ahead. Or really make a comment. So actually, I went on to Anton Daniels' channel earlier today.
Yeah.
And he had a panelist on there that told me I was giving the wrong information. They were asking a question of if an A+ certification is a good certification or not, or should people go and get it? I was like, yeah, they should. Depending on what you want, right? Depending on whatever task that you're trying to do. And this person was like, I have the A+ certification, and told me straight up it's obsolete. I was just like, I have, Master Rob IT, who teaches people how to get it. And he actually just came out with a video going through the practice test. So I was like, and it's constantly evolving and changing. So maybe, I don't know if the panelists got it like, a super long time ago or something like that, but it's constantly evolving. And I had a question of, they said that it only involved hardware, but I'm assuming that A+ has hardware and software. Am I correct?
That's right. That
yeah,
is
so
right for the beans. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, it has hardware and software, and it's good certification and stuff like that. And also, I was bringing up how there's many other avenues that people can use to get into technology or get into just the tech industry, other than just getting a 4-year university degree, right? There's plenty of people who have information out there who, like there's people who have not gotten a degree but gotten certifications, people who've gone to boot camps and been able to get into the tech industry, and also there's people who are just self-taught. We have people like Jonathan Barronville, who one of my biggest supporters, and I'm one of his biggest supporters as well. And he said that he's been coding since he was 12 years old.
Wow.
Right. And he's been coding for 12 years old. He has plenty of experience. He got a job super young, right? Super younger than he needed to be working. But he was able to actually do that. And, I just wanted to let people know, like people, especially like people like Tone, where they're talking about how they're transitioning from one industry to the tech industry.
Yep.
Right. So there's a lot of avenues for people. And I want to give people that, yes, you can most definitely do it. Don't give up. You just have to go out there, check out all the resources available to you, all your options, upgrading your network. And also check out Black Heights, advancing your career, right? Check out Professor Black Oz. Check out Master Rob IT. I see him in the chat now. Check out Kev Tech, IT support. There's a lot of people out here who are trying to help you out with this. And there's a lot of entry-level jobs that don't require just getting a 4-year bachelor's degree. So I saw one earlier today just looking for an associate's. Some of them are just looking for either experience or maybe you get the A+ certification or something like that. But there's a lot of different avenues for you people who are trying to transition into technology, especially when you have responsibilities. I know Tone said earlier he's trying to get to the bag because he's trying to work. He got responsibilities he got to take care of. Ain't nobody trying to go from one industry to transition over. Oh, I got to go to a 4-year degree and not make as much money, as you could be making with your job now. It's like, that's not an option for everybody. So, but it does not disqualify you from being able to get into technology.
I agree with that for the beans.
One thing that keeps me afloat is the fact that I got an empty nest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like with no woman, no kids, I could live. I could stay down till I come up. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much why I'm taking it. But let me ask you this: since y'all in tech, right? My thing is ageism. With me being, I'm 45. Let's keep it.
I'm 53, homie. I got you by 5. Go ahead. I'm 53. I got you by 5. But go ahead.
But you've been in the waters longer than I've been.
Oh, I've been swimming deep, player. You're right. I've been swimming deep.
So, but like me being a rookie, and let's just say I just turned 46 on the 19th this month. Let's just say 47. I hop in the joint. Hey, here I go. How they look at that?
You want to take this one, Professor Black? I can take it.
I can definitely. Go ahead.
You go ahead. Go ahead, PBO. You take it.
Oh, what you have to do is kind of what I do at my age is now. I'm not trying to be a CISO. You just come in and says, I'm here to support you. What can I do to help you? And people love for you to be supported, right? So it's not confrontational. You're not doing that. You just got to get your skills up and work on your craft to validate what jobs you're trying to get. So
this is this is what I would say, Tone. Right? I get asked that question a lot because a lot of people see the transition happening, or wanting to make the transition into tech. I see it this way: it's never too late to transition into tech, right? As Professor Black Ops said, your ultimate goal is to get in and to help a company execute, right? You're going to come with your own past experience and stuff like that. My advice to people looking to get into tech: it's a different world, especially from trucking and all this other stuff, right? I think we have some of the same sort of things that we've experienced. I think the topic on here was, what is it like to be a black man in tech? And I'm sure many people have the same experience of being a black man in the trucking industry, right? At the end of the day, it's about what skills do you have? How can you help the business? And are you willing to, work? And that's pretty much it. And if you're willing to do that and they can see that, Tone, it's not going to be a difficult transition. Now, if you're a type of person that, when you want to get into this industry and, you don't have the skill set and things like that, and you're commanding a high salary because, you've been, you're mid-career, at least from the industry that you come from, don't expect for people to necessarily pay you based on your salary that you would, command in the job that you've been working in for 11 years, right? Right. So that's the piece of it, right? So I just would expect, I want people to have the realistic expectations when they come into it as a first job. Don't be surprised until you get your skills up. You probably going to get paid as somebody coming into the role coming out of college, right? But you're going to be able to gain the skills relatively quick, right? To increase your salary because you have the experience. And as long as I've been in my career, Tone, I haven't had to deal with ageism or have to worry about ageism or any of that sort of stuff at all in my career. And I've managed people older than PBO, right? And, I can tell you this, as long as they've been on, the side of me, I'm cool, man. So I think that's how a lot of people look at it, Tom.
All right, that's what's up. Because like my only, my only fear was because, I know trucking, as long as you can drive, you in there. All they care about is you having a clean license. But I don't know too much about the corporate world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a different beast. It's a different beast.
Yeah, like before trucking, I was on the other side of the tracks. Let's just say that. You know what I mean? And so I don't know too much about build jobs.
Yeah. Well, and that's why we exist, though, Tone. Right? That's why I do what I do a lot of the times as well too. When it comes down to the soft skills piece of it as well too, and how you conduct yourself on this panel, sir, you're not going to have a problem. You're not going to have a problem, right? It is. You're not going to have a problem at all if you conduct yourself the way how you conduct yourself in this panel. Now, if you go in corporate and try to conduct yourself as you were on the other side of the tracks.
No, I always was like my mom and like my career choice was my decision. My mom and pop, they always was on it. You know what I mean? They made sure my head was right. So I always knew how to treat people and stuff like that. It was like, you kill my dog, I slay your cat. Back to business. You know what I mean? I just wanted to, get my paycheck and go home, if you want to say. You know what I mean? So I've never been known to be like ignorant, treat people wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I got friends, of course, but their way of thinking never rubbed off on me. You know what I mean? So,
well, I say this, Tone, you belong here. We got your back. I'm glad that you're making that transition. Anybody, like yourself who are looking to get this, we got brother Master IT who's in, right? Who's in the chat right now. right? I mean, look him up. A good brother of ours, right? Brother Rob, I'm not going to be able to see him when I go to Houston this next on Wednesday. He has some other stuff, but maybe we can see each other on Thursday. But you know, we have a strong network too, Tony. If you want to, jump into our Patreon, let's jump into our Patreon as well too, to chop it up with these guys, man. So we have the community. I say this, right? It's a transition that's going to be beneficial for you, especially where you want to be in your later on career. And I say this: don't. If people tell you, because I know a lot of people are going to tell you this, why are you doing this now? Right? They're going to be the same type of people that, they say, hey, you know what? Don't get close to that tree. The limb going to fall off and hit you on your head. Don't listen to that shit. They're not on your same path. Follow the people that, are on that same journey or who's been through that. And we're here to help you out, man. We're here to help you out, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, because I followed before the billions in professional black ops. So,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Basically, it's like, what the thing is, I appreciate panels like this and brothers like y'all, because, like I said, with them low numbers as far as black people that's in the tech, I know people that know how to do everything, but I don't know one person in tech. So it's like, and I went through that when I got my CDL license. It was like, you sure you're gonna know how to be able to get that and da da da. But then after I got it, then everybody wanted to throw a ticker tape parade for me. I'm like, man, you know what I mean? So I know the nature of people. You know what I mean? That's how, like, especially like in Philadelphia, like now I'm trying to make this career move, and I decided to start it while I'm up here, so I know how that is. But when I go back down south, what I like about down south, me personally, coming from East Coast, is it's a supportive environment. You know what I mean? Like when I was driving my truck, and one of my neighbors, he drives trucks, and he was like, "You still a company guy?" You know what I mean? Yep. So he walked me through the process of buying my truck, open up a business account, stuff like that. That's the type of stuff I like to be around, because it's like, I don't have an ounce of hate in my blood. If anything, if you're doing better than me, I would like to sit down and say, how can I be like you? I don't have pride like that.
Good.
You know what I mean? Like, don't feed me fish, teach me how to fish. I come from that. So that's where hating just don't. And it's like, all right, you got your turn before I got my turn. I'll get it when it comes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like right now, some of the stuff I'm studying C language, the old C language, and it don't make no sense to me, even though I know she sharp.
That's how you really learn how to code.
That's how you really learn how to code. The C is old tone.
Yeah,
That's how you do it.
Short. Yeah, but like right now, my skills where I'm at now, HTML, CSS, SAS, all that stuff that come with SAS. I mean CSS, I know all that, and I know the basics of JavaScript.
There you go. Look at that, man.
Now, this is what, matter of fact, I'm glad I'm talking to y'all. Now, this is what I want to do. I know how you can implement HTML with CSS, right? Now, I know arrays and functions and stuff like that. I know how to type it in. But how do I know inside my program where to implement JavaScript? Like where to put it in at?
Yeah, it's usually in a different file. You have your HTML file, you have your CSS, and you can also have your JavaScript.
Well,
you can also put it all into one file as well, all in the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Mm-hmm. But usually what you want to do is separate it out, and then that JavaScript is going to then call on that HTML, that CSS, and that's really just the behavior of how that website is going to work. That's the actual behavior. The CSS is going to be, the styling, and then HTML is the structure.
Okay, now, pardon me. Because I got that because I use visual code in my code, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know how to separate it. And even like when I put it like in HTML, put it in script tags and everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, say when I use CSS and I could put like a class. I could say class this because I want this background to be yellow. I know how to direct CSS to my HTML. But how can I say I want this part of, how can I put it?
But are you saying that you're trying to put a script tag and you're trying to have behavior for a specific element?
So like, how do I put a behavior for a certain part of my page?
Yeah, so you could do the script tag, right? That's, you would put your whatever the script is between those script tags, and then you'll say, okay, I want to reference whatever the HTML or the class that you're trying to change, right? So that you would have to reference it. That's pretty much, you have to write up code, reference it, and then that's how you'll be able to do that. Also, if you're trying to just understand like how to do more with JavaScript, I would say check out the new Boston on YouTube. He's been in these YouTube streets for many years, and he's actually the person who really taught me how to do pretty much HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, many different things. And you also have Derek Banis on YouTube as well, who teaches people how to do many different programming languages as well. So if you're just trying to see exactly what that looks, what's that?
What's his name again? The last one?
The last one, his name is Derek Banis. So you spell it DerekBanas. First and last name, and then those two people will get you straight when you're trying to pretty much learn the majority of these programming languages, to be honest with you.
Facts.
And they helped me out tremendously with when I was going through college, but also in my professional career as well. So if you're trying to see what that looks like, how to reference within JavaScript your HTML tags or your classes for CSS, then that's where you would go. And also you can just check out online on Google, geeksforgeeks.com or W3 Schools. There's a lot of different websites out there. Stack Overflow, plenty of different places where you can learn how to do those specific tasks.
I greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
I appreciate so guys. I'm gonna do this. We're getting real technical in here.
We got super technical.
we got super technical in here, and I appreciate it, Tone. And that's the thing, guys. Right? We're here to support Tone like this, and all of you who are in this position to transition into tech. I want to do this. I want you guys to leave the audience with something, and then I'm going to close out the panel, and then read the super chats and close out the show. But I want, this is a great show tonight. I love the fact that we all got together, was able to get on here and talk about our experience. I let it off, but I want for you guys to leave, the folks here in the audience with what your take on it is as well too. And I'll let you leave them with something, Tone, because you said a lot tonight, right? A person who's making a transition in from his career, obviously you're learning. I mean, to the point where you're actually getting real technical in here. I'm like, man, this is this conversation going all night. But tell people what you want them to know, either about you, what you got going on, or just getting into tech in general that you want to leave people with, man.
Well, like I said, trying to get in the game and master it the best way I can. First of all, I just got one foot in the door already. So, but what I eventually want to do is educate my people on tech, because once again, nobody know about that. Where I'm from, all they want you to do is manual labor. And
other ways to make a living.
Yeah, we could get a slice of that pie. You know what I mean? Like that money with them salaries and stuff. We could do stuff for our communities. You don't got to be just a rapper. You know what I mean? You don't got to just go to the NBA. You know what I mean? So, it's and there's so many things you could do. So, like I said, I want to get a nonprofit. I want to open up a trucking business so I can, employ more people and just just invest in what I know. Now, one day if I might buy a McDonald's, I don't know. You know what I mean? Sky's the limit. But I'm just thinking, you know, what my realistic next 5-year goals is. You know, 5 years go by, I might want to conquer the world. Who knows? But you know, all I can say is y'all some positive brothers. I greatly appreciate y'all. Like I said, I follow a couple of y'all. Gave me some good references as far as people to follow to further my education. And I'm definitely going to check out their Patreon. So hopefully, you know, I can be part of the, you know, positive brother that just want to be around more positive brothers, man. So we can just build off of each other, man. Like, you know, I don't know nothing about IT, but if anybody want to know anything about trucking, hey, I know the business up and down. I got an LLC, purchased the truck, had an employee, all that, you know. So,
well, we appreciate your tone, man. Thank you for coming on, brother. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story as well, too, man. So let's go to Tim, man. What you got? What you got, Tim?
Yeah, like what Tone said, it's just great to be around all these great brothers, just soaking it all in. My situation is different. I got like a bit of a teaching background, working with probationary youth, and you know, had a lot of patience and stuff dealing with that population. Those unaware, it's basically kids. I would say bad kids just made bad decisions that end up going to juvenile hall, and then they can't go back to the school district. So they have a charter school specifically catered when I was working at to the COVID hit, because right now when they did it, they started putting them on house arrest or put them in juvenile hall. And as a result, the student body population was already small. It was like 90 or 92 students, dwindled down to 70 to 60 to, I think the last month, like 10 students. So they had another choice, because you lose students, you lose money. So right now, currently I'm underemployed, but I'm training right now actually for digital marketing, and then trying to use a stepping stone to be a network engineering, CCNA, then CCNP, and just building from there, have like another skill set beyond just the IT. But that's my long-term career is IT, and want to do other entrepreneur endeavors similar to what Anton is doing, and helping other brothers as well. Like my cousin, I'm trying to get him in, but he's, you know, set on that, because I spoke to other people in the trucking industry, and right when they get to the 4th or 5th or 6th year, that's when they be like, man, I'm trying to get up out this truck. I want to be close to my family. And Tone, you know, to deal with that more than me, you know, with that. So again, I'm let other brothers speak, but just I'm proud of being in this community and networking and just learning and growing from here.
Man, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, Tim. No Limit 3, man. We're gonna get them. We're gonna get that big hoodie for you, brother. We're gonna get you.
Yeah, I look forward to January. Yeah. Right, and make sure you network with Mr. Johnson, Chris Johnson. Hopefully, you guys collab or do an interview. He has like a ton of knowledge, and Jumpstart IT Academy doing great things like you.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. But for the billions, man, what you got for us, brother?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much again for having me up on the panel, Mr. Antoine Wade.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So I wanted to leave you guys with this, is that I most definitely can resonate with the topic. Most definitely going to be doing another video on this as well. Actually, I had Professor Blackhouse on my channel a little while ago talking about what is it like being a black developer. Like, that's actually the most difficult part about being a black developer. So it's kind of similar, but it's going to be going into more depth when I do another video on this. But what I will say is that just like how we have witnessed, you know, there are a lot of people trying to get into tech, and there are a lot of options for people trying to transition, or people who are going in this route that I took, which was getting the 4-year degree, right? And with that being said, you guys are always providing such great value for people who are trying to go in both ways, right? Even for people who are trying to go the self-taught route, right? There's a lot of different avenues for people to get into tech, to get to the bag, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Antoine.
I appreciate it, 40 Billions, man. And guys, check out 40 Billions, great YouTuber, getting it done on all night streams, man. I'll be waking up at like, 12 o'clock at night to go to the bathroom. He still be on, building websites, all kind of stuff, man. I'll be like, man, he be getting it.
Might do it tonight.
PBO, Leave us with something, my man. You gotta, I always gotta let the man of the hour always leave us with some takeaways because you got them, brother. What do you got for us,
good.
man?
This is a good stream. Like you said, I think everybody in the panel was excellent. You was definitely preaching today. But like the one guy said that we were talking to a couple of weeks ago, y'all not out here alone. We got each other's back. Shout out to Master IT. Shout out to Tam, Women in Linux. There's just so many people in the chat right now. There's so many people out here. So just reach out to them. And I always tell people, I'm going to give you some. Then I'm going to send you to Before the Billions. And I'm going to tell you to dig in your pocket a little bit and come see Black Heights. He's very affordable and reasonable. But, you're giving out game. But the key word that's out there is, I'm before Google. Wasn't none of this out here. I had to actually pull books off shelves. So let's help each other. This is a network. We building it. With this new technology and new stuff along. In 1985, I was led on the 4 reading manuals. I ain't had nobody to call, wasn't no YouTube, wasn't no Google. I was on MySpace trying to, hook up a baby real quick while I'm studying. Let's use technology to the fullest and let's get the bag. And that's all I got, brother.
Man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you all, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. And thank you so much for coming on and blessing me on the panel and chopping it up with me, guys. So I'll let you go, but enjoy the rest of your night, guys, and we'll catch up soon, okay? Peace out, guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, guys, man, so guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Let me do this real quick. You know how we do it. I'm going to end the show by saying this. Guys, tech is where it is. The community is strong. You can do it. There's many of us out here that exist. All right? I'm pushing it. I'm going to continue to push it. There's many ways that you can get into tech. You don't have to follow my path. You can follow PPO's path. You can follow Master IT's path. You can follow Before the Billions path. You can follow the path that Tone is taking. There's many paths that you can take, but the ultimate goal is for you to get into tech. It's where it's at. And ultimately, I'll say this. Guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. Do me a favor, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to this channel and you like this content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. And make sure, if you haven't become a Patreon member, go ahead and join the community, man. We getting it done over here. And until next time, y'all. Peace. Master IT, Brother Rob, I appreciate the super chat, brother. Tech is the wave. No limit. You got the 499 Travis with the sponsorship on the day. I appreciate you, Travis. You the man. Travis said, hey, Antoine, I want to thank you for the informative information you gave us. I'm currently a stayer for business, and now I'm a transfer to WGU for IT. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Oh, Young, $5 super chat. I'm interested in the tech. Doesn't matter where your computer science degree is from. No, it does not. Now, don't get me wrong. You know how it is. Bigger companies like bigger schools. But it doesn't matter where you're from as long as you got the skills, brother. Also, our coding boot camps are legit. Yes, they are. Check out the other video that I did with the military vet who did that. Looking to work 40 hours a week. Yes, sir. Go ahead and get it done, brother. Jordan, we're going to check you out on Wednesday. I appreciate you for dropping in, brother. CJ just started his new job. That's my brother right there. One of Vernon Scott, what's happening? Maddox 12, my favorite is you don't look like you belong in our culture. Don't listen to him. Natasha was in the house, I appreciate you. Deuce was in the house, Hellman, I appreciate you. King 318, I appreciate you, man. Use critical thinking, man. I thank you so much again for this super chat, brother. Jabron, brother Jabron was in the house. Dr. Dick was in the house. I'm surprised you didn't call in, brother. That's my brother. Gas 2 is unlimited. Bond official, we appreciate you too, brother.